What's going on, world? We're back again for another episode on the Think to Freedom podcast. And today, I got my brother, got my friend checking in with me. Jimmy Jones is in the building today. What's going on with it, bro?
What's going on, D? What's going on, man? Glad to be here, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, one time I appreciate you for tapping in with me, jumping on the podcast, man, to share your journey. Share the news, just talk about oil and gas, man. Cause that's a field that a lot of people do not know about. And I'm gonna get some game from you today, man, and just learn about your story, bro. Cause a lot of people don't know your story, man. I just want you to, share your story, tell the people how you came, where you came from, how you came up, the whole 9 yards. So for people who do not know you, let them know who you are and what you do, bro.
Gotcha. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jimmy Jones. I'm here from Shreveport, Louisiana. I grew up in Shreveport. Went to school in Shreveport. Went to Warner Park, Uri Drive, and went on to Huntington High School. Met D and Van. We shared some good times, and so went off to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Got my degree in biochemistry. Then went to LSU. Got my MBA. Worked for a couple of engineering firms here for a couple of years before I branched off on my own and started my own oil and gas company, along with other ventures, but primarily jumped into the oil and gas.
Gotcha, that's big there. So, bro, I don't know too many people that's in the oil and gas industry. So, what even made you pick this particular field to go in, bro?
What made me pick this field, man, working with some of the engineering firms I've worked for, I seen an opportunity because I've been a project manager for a couple of large projects with past firms I've worked for, and working through my projects, working with different utilities, I seen that there was a gap and a shortage, not even a shortage. I mean, a misrepresentation of blacks in oil and gas, and I mean, the area for growth is gigantic in oil and gas, and I'm not just talking about working in the oil field. I mean, having trucks, being on the business side, administrative side. So I took all those experiences that I garnered from working for engineering firms as a project manager and went into it. I mean, it's a small percentage of blacks in oil and gas. So I think in Louisiana, it's maybe 2 or 3 registered oil and gas companies, with me being one of them.
Man, that's crazy. That's wild, bro. I didn't even imagine that. So let's just break it down. Like, how do you even make money, or how do you even get into oil and gas? Like, what's the first step? The only thing the majority know is just working in the oil field.
Okay, well, the first steps in getting in oil and gas is really understanding how it works. I mean, from a business standpoint and political standpoint, oil and gas is based off politics, big time politics. It's dependent on who's the president at the time, who's the governor. Not too much locally, but barrel prices across the world. A lot of people think when you get in oil and gas, it's just trucks and delivering oil here, delivering oil there, but it's a whole machine behind it that pushes that. So the first step in getting oil and gas is really understanding it, seeing how it works from a business standpoint.
Gotcha. So look, I'm in the stock market. I do my investing and whatnot, and you got the oil and gas. You got its own sector, with Exxon, Chevron, just to name a few of those particular companies. And what you do with your Jones and oil and gas, what in particular that you do, bro? What's your niche in the oil and gas industry?
Well, my niche, I do land acquisition and right-of-way parcels. Basically, I'm the middleman between the large oil companies like, you familiar with Haynesville Shell?
Mm-hmm.
Haynesville Shell, the BPs, the Exxons, the Murphy Oils. I mean, so I'm the middleman. So basically, say for instance, there's a large table of oil to be rendered in a certain area, rural area. They need people to go in and gather information and percentages on the tables, the soil densities, and things of that nature. And I dealt with that, again, like I told you earlier, as a project manager working for engineering firms. Another thing I do is basically get with the community, see, check and see, and negotiate prices on royalties on their land.
Gotcha.
The large oil and gas companies like BP, Exxon, they don't want to talk to the community. They just want the job brokered, and that's it. So I'm basically the broker between the oil and gas companies and the municipalities, maybe even cities, and things of that nature. So just the middleman.
Gotcha. So with minorities or just say blacks being a small percentage in the oil and gas, bro, what were some of the obstacles that you went through? Tell us about your whole entire journey, but break it down from when you first started at the firm to the position that where you are with it now.
But when I first started out working for my first engineering firm, it was a big subsurface project here in Shreveport, actually called the Consent Decree. And it was one of the largest pipeline projects in America. And my projects included making sure sewer pipes were put in place. So I would constantly have to meet with Centerpoint Gas Line Centerpoint Industries to make sure we weren't hitting certain gas lines. So one day, after one of the meetings, I offered to take one of the guys out to lunch to learn more about the oil and gas industry. And he was just basically telling me that, here are some good opportunities, man, because I see you doing a good job here at your job. And this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I got into it that way. And my second engineering firm I worked for, my project loads grew. So at one point I was managing a project like maybe $15 million. And a lot of people don't know Shreveport, Louisiana has the largest pipeline project going on in America. So it has the largest pipeline project going on in America. It's called
repeat that one more time so they can understand this.
It has the largest pipeline project going on in America currently. If not, wow. if other states or cities have not been put on the consent decree. So a lot of people say you can't grow in Shreveport. There's no opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity here. It's not put on blast. You really have to do your own homework and dig for it, as a sidebar. But
got to do your research.
You got to do your research. They're not going to give it to you, especially in oil and gas. One of the major things and proponents of me getting in it. I mean, I was black. I was young. I was black, but I had the skill set. I had the degrees, but sometimes some degrees, they don't matter. You have to politic.
Yeah.
Have this meeting and that meeting to get the information you need to even get in it, because oil and gas is one of those industries where people grow up in it. You just don't get in it, So I spent maybe 2 years studying it, making sure I understood everything about the oil and gas industry, from the barrel prices, from who had the highest costs, from import and export tariffs. And I educated myself for at least 2 years.
Man,
I know that's a lot, but
I hear, it's going through my mind, so I'm putting it together. All that oil and gas, that's big money coming in. Having the biggest project in America, that's a major deal with oil and gas companies, because like I say, I'm in the stock market, so trading oil and gas, natural gases or whatnot is like, and what you speak about the barrel prices, like. So basically, like a lot of the news that's talking about politics, that plays a part in the oil and gas, in the prices and all that. Am I correct?
You are correct. The stock market is huge. I mean, you pay attention to the stock market, you can pay attention to how much you're going to make. You can project. Your future. And, I see a lot of blacks. I see a lot of minorities and black people starting to get into it, which excites me. But we need more education on it. Not when it's popular, but we need like more educational classes, especially for millennials, to actually understand how the politics play onto the stock market. If you don't understand the politics, you're not going to understand the stock market. So they go hand in hand.
That this is a fact. It's a fact because a lot of things, the stock market is volatile. It's sometimes, and a lot of it is a lot of hype. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's a lot of news. It don't really be concrete all the time. It's really based off of hype, and you have to really do your research, know what particular company that you're investing in, know what they're doing, read their backstory, read their financials. Really dig in
That's
on
true.
who you putting money behind, because like a lot of these companies out here going bankrupt.
That's
Like
right.
it's a lot of it's a lot of them doing that, and if you don't know, you'll be throwing your money away just thinking, oh, this particular stock and this oil and gas company is $10. That
Hmm.
they'll sit there and crash out and go to $3, $2. I forgot what particular company it was. I wish I could remember, but I want to say, man, it was a gas company. I don't want to mess up their name because I'm live on a podcast. Chesapeake.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Chesapeake went bankrupt.
Yeah, see that, yeah, it was, because I looked into it, I was like, nah, I ain't putting no money behind them, but it's just crazy
Mhm.
that you even talking about that and just see how I played a part in it. So for anybody that want to get into the oil and gas, man, what's some of the things that you would recommend for them to do, bro? Like even with college wise, or do they even need to go to school to do this particular field? Just give a little quick breakdown on that.
Well, uh, it's different levels to it, but I mean, for the person, I'm gonna give you A, B, and C. I'm gonna say the A person is the person who doesn't take the college route. Uh, if you want to get in oil and gas and you didn't go to school, there, I mean, it'll make you a millionaire just like somebody who went to school by getting your CDL, getting your hazmat license. And what you do is a lot of programs like a lot of companies like Exxon and BP, they have minority programs to where the contracts they garner from these Gulf shores, they have to have a certain percentage of minorities driving and delivering those oil trucks to the Walmarts, to these gas stations. So, man, uh, getting a truck, a CDL driver getting his own truck, being an owner operator. Uh, that's
Gotcha,
one. That's one way. I
gotcha.
mean, those trucks on average make over $500,000 a year.
And you definitely see those gas trucks on the road every day. Don't matter if it's a holiday or not. The gas has to get to the station. It has
The
to get
gas,
to where it's got to go.
yep. And not only that, not only gas and oil, but sand. Man, getting your owner operator's license. I mean, getting that, and you can deliver sand. I mean, that plays a huge, a huge role in the oil industry. So, and that's no degree. That's just going to school to get your CDL, 3 to 6 months, drive up under somebody get some good experience, purchase your own truck, get on a leasing program, and hook on one of these companies that have these minority-based programs. You're your own owner. You got your own truck. And again, this is no school. It'll make you a millionaire.
Gotcha. Hey, that's a good thing right there, man. A lot of people be sleeping on the transportation industry, but one thing about the transportation industry, it don't matter if it coming from overseas on a boat, an airplane. One thing about it, it has to be put on that truck.
Yep.
You gotta haul it. Ain't no
Yep.
if ands or buts about it. So,
Yep.
all right, so that's a way for somebody to get in who does not have does not have a degree. So my question is, bro. So how can I break it down? Let me see. How can I break this down in the oil and gas business, bro? So, let me see. How can I break? How do you balance it? Like when I say balance it, how you balance it? Because I can assume like it takes up a lot of your time, bro.
Mhm.
And how do you balance, your career, your business with your regular life? How do they how you make them coexist?
Man, to be honest with you, man, a lot of people who know me personally, who I talk to on a daily, which is a very small select few of people. To be honest with you, and I'm not gonna lie on here, I barely sleep, man, because I just barely sleep. And I make sure that the things I do get on, the projects I do take on, I try not to take on too much, but just making sure I dot every I and cross every T. So the phase I'm in life is not about balance right now. It's about going to get it. I mean, as much as I can, because tomorrow ain't promised. I have plans and goals that I want to reach by a certain age. So I'm laser focused. So sometimes I work 15 to 17 hours a day, man.
Just getting it. So like throughout your whole journey, like when you made that leap into doing Jones Oil and Gas, when did you have like your breakthrough or your aha moment? You were like, you know what, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to jump out here on and run on all 10.
When I didn't have the surety of a job, when I had to wake up in the morning and say, if I don't make it work, it's not gonna work. I'm smart enough. If I'm smart enough to make it work for these engineering firms that's making tens and 20 and 30 millions of dollars, why can't I do it for myself? Like if I can work 15 to 18 hours for them, why can't I do it for myself? So it was a light bulb. And I always had the entrepreneurial spirit. I always, just wanted to be my own boss, man. And
Gotcha.
so that was the aha moment, just saying, I got to make it work. Just taking that leap of faith, willing to risk it all, man. Just willing to risk it all. So.
Yeah, I understand that, man. That's one thing about like entrepreneurship that a lot of people have to take that in consideration. Cause like once you jump out there and you the owner and you gonna be an entrepreneur, like you out there in unfamiliar waters. Like, yeah, we might have. It's one thing about researching and thinking about it, and it's a whole nother ball game when you in the game. Because when you in the game, you got to come to play each and every day. And I commend you about it for even being top in your field and what you're doing right now. So I definitely commend you, bro, because I know it's not easy being the minority, being black in a field that's dominated, that is dominated. You know what I'm saying? So by other ethnic groups, and bro, I commend you. So let's speak about the oil and gas industry here in Louisiana. How does the industry compare to everywhere else in the country, like Texas and North Dakotas and all that type of thing? Well, I've heard other, oil field workers go.
Man, comparably, I'll take Louisiana and Texas as the 1 and 2. I mean, sometimes they counter each other, but oil and gas runs Louisiana, just like agriculture, the cropping. But Texas, it's bigger, so of course they have more reserves, all reserves. But oil and gas is one of the main thoroughfares for like functionality in Louisiana because it's so close to the Gulf. So oil and gas, gaming, fishing, those 3 top industries run Louisiana.
Yeah,
run Louisiana.
Cause I'm in the fishing part with
you. Yeah.
I'm in the fishing part with you, cause man, you said the fishing game, the seafood game.
Yes,
man, it's heavy. They definitely in the Gulf of Mexico fishing each and every season. They getting all type of animals. So you definitely is right about that. So since Louisiana and Texas is 1 and 2 neck and neck, what do you think? Where's the troubles coming at with like with all of the gas and oil layoffs or whatnot? What do you think? What plays a part in that?
What plays a part in that is the big politics. Who's the president? Republican versus Democrat. And a reason that's important is because most of the oil industry is based off like overseas tariffs, how much these countries charge us. If you have a president that doesn't get along with most of these world leaders, especially like the Saudi Arabias, the Kuwaits, even Africa, which has some of the largest oil reserves in the world, most people don't know. That's what plays a huge role. It causes wars.
Gotcha.
It causes wars, man.
Gotcha. Let's tap in. You just said the big A word, Africa. So why don't a lot of people, or why haven't a lot of people tapped into Africa's oil? what plays in a part on that? Like, how can we coincide and do business with Africa in your eyes? How do you see that happening?
Well, for like years and years, man, Africa has been controlled. I mean, the oil industry is tapped into Africa. We just don't know about it, man. These large industries from all over the world going to Africa, take over these towns, and it's brutal. They don't talk about it. There's a couple of series on Netflix that talk about, how these industries go in and basically pay off head politicians in Africa and take over the town, man, and completely wipe out the village. And they'll pay people from the village, modern day slavery, they'll pay people from the village to murder off whole villages due to the oil reserves.
That's wild. So basically, they killing people off to take over the lands to get all the resources.
Yeah, a perfect example would be, equivalent to, have you ever seen that movie called Blood Diamond?
I never seen it.
It was basically the same thing with oil, but it was diamonds. Africa sits on, a huge amount of diamonds, just like oil. So you had these large industries coming in, using the people from that area, just like slavery, how they got us, bribing them to, hey, we'll give you this. We need this area because we need to do some diamond mining, some oil mining. So it happens every day, man.
Man, I'm sitting there writing it down because I'm going to have to go watch this movie. When we get off this,
Blood Diamond.
This on Netflix too?
Blood Diamond should be on Netflix. It was shot in Sierra Leone.
Gotcha. All right.
If you watch that movie, it's the same course. It's the exact same course with all.
Man,
not only in Africa, Iraq, Afghanistan, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. Same
principles.
Same principles.
That's crazy. Cause we definitely been going to war with those particular countries before. And in every incident, oil has definitely came up in every last one of them because they charging too much for those particular barrels or whatnot for the gas. And then correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes those guys over there in Saudi Arabia, they'll either jack the price up or they'll have the price so low to where like they can take a loss on it and affect the whole market. Am I close?
You are close. It affects the whole world. It's a form of control. Plays a huge part in it. So no, you are exactly. Those small countries. Why do you think well, I'm not gonna say that. Those small countries. That's why we have like we can go to war and just annihilate them, but if we annihilate those countries, our oil barrels would go sky high. Imagine paying, you blow up a country like Saudi Arabia or something like that, we're gonna be paying $50 a gallon, man.
Hey, so like they say, I don't know. I'm just going off what I read or whatnot. Like it's a lot of oil over here in the Americas. But but do we just not use our own oil and we just get oil from other places? Is that correct?
Hold on, let me see. I can't hear you. Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
I said so. So on the oil and gas. So is it that hold on, I had lost my train of thought. Let me think about it. I don't remember what I just said. I just had a moment. I just had a moment. But that's just crazy, bro. How much politics and how much gain going to the oil and gas. I know it's so much money, like, and we don't even have a piece of it. Like,
and it's, man, I'm gonna tell you, D, man, me and you to have personal talks, man. It's not just oil and gas, it's opportunities everywhere. But you just have to literally do your own research and you have to get it yourself. They're not gonna give it to you. You have to really dig into it, man. I mean, you don't have to, I stayed in New York, I travel a lot, so I try to make sure I'm exposed a large
Mhm.
portion of the year so I can see what's going on throughout the world, throughout the regions. I make sure I go on the West Coast, East Coast, Southwest, Midwest to make sure I stay on top of things because I just don't do business in Louisiana, and I have to
Gotcha.
make sure I'm aware of what's going on just nationwide and worldwide,
Just so you can stay on top of what you're doing.
just so I can stay on top. Uh, Try to check in with the Wall Street Journal. I mean, at least 4 times a week when I can. I mean, and it's right there in black and white. I mean, a subscription to the Wall Street Journal only costs you $15 a year, man. And if you're into stocks, I encourage any entrepreneur uh, to garner that.
Yes, sir. I definitely read the Wall Street Journal. I need to read it more. I tap into it a little bit, but I might have to go and sign me up a subscription just to have it, just to
Yeah.
have it right there at my fingertips, man. So this oil and gas is very interesting because I know a couple of cats who got like they bought into or invested some oil rigs, and they definitely always talking about it. So just
Mm-hmm.
you sharing your story of your experience and your dealings in it, man, is amazing. So if you had to say anything to these young brothers or sisters out there who want to make a difference, who want to make a change, coming from the environment that we came from, what would you tell them, bro?
Well, what I would tell, man, from my experiences, from our experiences in which we share, I would tell a young person, make sure you do what you want to do. Don't be discouraged by what people try to put on you that they haven't done. Nobody can't tell you don't do that if they ain't never done it. You know, that's one thing I had to learn. I used to, listen to a lot of quote unquote mentors, friends, and it turned out that, once you start elevating and God got a destined for you, Meek Mill talk about he started losing friends
It's
about his
true.
circle. That's true. Like that's 100% true, man. You have to bag back. Uh, Make sure you have a plan set in place. Don't listen to nobody who isn't an expert or has failed or succeeded in that area. Uh, Another thing I would say is having a strong team, having loyalty amongst your team, man. Because I mean, yeah, I'm one of the managing partners for this company, and it's my company, but I'm a managing partner as well. But I have a whole team of people under me that works diligently, man. So having a strong team is very key because you cannot do anything by yourself.
Mhm.
Uh, Learning from your L's. Man, I just got to reading this book from 50 Cent called Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And one of the chapters that's that caught my attention when he talked about learning from your L's. And, you know, the L's in my life, I'd have been fired from jobs, and I'd have, been shown like racism, but I had to stare it in the face and just keep it moving. Like the L's are what got me to where I am today. The L's are what really like grew me up fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exposure. Don't stay in one spot. You can come back, because I came back, but again, like I said, I travel a lot. I travel a lot to make sure, because my business, it's remote. It can be remote, but expose yourself. Do not stay in one spot. You got to go to grow. If you stay in one spot your whole life, uh, you won't be as successful if you visit other spots and expose yourself. That's a major key because I know so many people, man, from that we grew up with from high school, man, they have not left. Man, they'll go to Dallas, they'll go to Houston, but man, the world is big,
But
you know.
most of those trips be leisure trips, going to
Yeah.
the club, going to go
Mhm.
turn up. Ain't no, it's not no networking, man. Cause people wouldn't believe like when you move around, people are real receptive to people from Louisiana. Like, where you from? Like Louisiana. People be like, oh, let's network, let's do something, let's build something, and like people don't can't be scared of it. And a lot of people be scared to leave that nest, but you gotta leave that nest, you gotta go be uncomfortable. Once you feel yourself being uncomfortable, that's how you know you're growing.
You absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. You absolutely right. And I got like a quick story, man. The first time I left the country and went to Japan, man. This was a couple of years back, about 4 or 5 years back.
Okay.
If you ever want to see how we supposed to be treated, man, when we go to these other countries, man, we're treated like kings and queens. I'm not trying to talk all high frequency, but when you get off the plane, they bowing, man, they pointing, like smiling. Man, you get treated right when you go to these other countries. I mean, I feel like the Achilles heel and the fail of a black man is not himself and not getting out, man. And because we are treated really, really good around the world. It's just in America when we see these injustices because they don't like it either. You go to these other countries like Australia, Japan, Amsterdam, Britain. I mean, we get treated with a lot of respect, man. So
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Me traveling abroad, they love us. Like, man, you get all the love in the world, you know.
And as soon as you get off the plane, man.
Yeah, that's true. So, bro, I always ask this question. What do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years with Jones Oil and Gas, with your life in general? You know, we gotta predict it. We gotta speak it out. So, man, how do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? So when we go back to this podcast, we be like, hey man, Jimmy Show said that.
Man, I want to be one of the largest minority contractors in oil and gas, not just in Louisiana, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And I can do it. That's one of my major goals. I want to be able to give back to my community and not just Thanksgiving drives, not just Christmas drives. I'm talking about my jobs, creating jobs for STEM, you know, educating. In the next 10 years, I want to employ about 500 people. I really want to make an impact, man.
That's Fortune 500 company right there. That's big boy talk. It's gonna happen though, bro. You
Yep.
just setting the foundation right now.
Yep. And another thing, man, I listen to another thing, man, I would tell people, I'm gonna go back to that. If you're the smartest one in your circle, you definitely need to leave. If you have sense of people being jealous of you, go with your instinct and leave. Most of my friends are old, man. One of my greatest friends, his name is Roy Griggs, man. Me and him
Mr.
have a standing
Grizz.
lunch. Yeah. Like Mr. Griggs has took me under his wing and told me some of the ills that he went through. So I avoid those things. I listen to him, and a lot of, again, I'm gonna say millennials, we think we know everything, but a lot of the stuff we can avoid if we change our circles and outlook. And I listen to a lot of old people who've been through it. Most of my circle is 50 plus. I'm usually always by myself, man. So a lot of people say, man, you're always by yourself. It's not that. It's just my friends who I hang out with. You're not going to see them out. They usually going to sleep at 8:30.
Yeah. Getting to it all day long. And then when we get together, we get together. But then, everybody we be moved. You be moved when you, like, a lot of people want, I want to be successful, but with success comes a lot of responsibility. Like, you can't do the old thing that you was to do. You can't hang out like it used to be. Like, you gonna have to sacrifice. Like, nah, bro, I can't come up here today. Like, I can't. You may not even be doing nothing in particular, but you got to be locked in. That time that you can use to be in pardon, you can be in that book. You can be looking up this video, gaining knowledge each and every day. And like, a lot of people just don't want to put in that sacrifice. And I like to tell people, like, you have to change. You can't be the same. Like, you gotta sacrifice. It's just like a person. When a person is born, they are a baby. They never stay a baby. They always grow up to an adult.
That's true.
You gotta do the same thing in your life. You gotta change. Now what you don't change, I feel you don't change your morals and your principles. You gotta stand on something.
You gotta
like
stand on something.
Those particular things that you keep solid, like, you don't have to change those. But just activities, you change that. Habits, you change that. Because you gotta put in that discipline and that consistency in what you're doing, bro. And I commend you on jumping into the oil and gas. Cause don't too many people that look like us is in that field, bro. And you being able to infiltrate it and going through those particular horrors that you're going through, bro. Man, I know it's not easy, but man, somebody got to do it. You know, God
Yeah.
just chose it for you to be that particular person, man, and you just gonna open up the floodgates, and
Yeah.
then and reach back and do for our people.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people get on podcasts and lie. Man, it's been plenty of times, man. I ain't paid myself. It's been some rough times, but if you ain't willing to risk it all, I don't think you should jump into entrepreneurship. If you're not willing to not get paid and pay this person first, pay your people first, if you're not willing to just do what you need to do, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And I ain't saying go quit your job. If you got a job, you need to have an exit plan. Don't
Yeah.
just, I hear a lot of people say boss this, boss that. Man, the average person quit their job, they're not going to survive without a plan. You know what I'm saying? I advise anybody that wants to jump into entrepreneurship, I mean, at the least, you should have a 3-month plan to 12-month plan on your exit plan, recession plan out your job. And you should also leave on, good faith.
Yeah. You never know when you might need that relationship again.
That's right.
Always keep your relationships good. It don't matter if you gotta end it, just end it off in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you always welcome. Cause man, that's the worst if you kick somebody down or do somebody bad, and then it come back around, that person right there in your face, and then that door gets shut. Man,
That's
you
true.
close that door on yourself.
Yeah.
When nothing but a conversation could have saved it.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
I definitely, man, I agree with you like that, bro. And man, it's the holiday weekend, but we tapped in on the podcast. We working, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's normal. It's normal, man. So I just and being from Shreveport, man, it's just like people say, man, it ain't no, they hate it here. It's not a lot to do here. Yeah, that may be true, but what are you doing to change it? Are you creating jobs? Are you instilling in the kids? I work with nonprofits. I go into the schools once a month and expose children to STEM. You got to give kids options. Everybody don't want to be a lawyer or doctor. Everybody don't want to be, the cliche. You got to give people options, man. So the top 10 jobs coming out of college, 6 figures is engineering, STEM.
Gotcha.
The top 10.
Gotcha.
If you go that route, not saying lawyers and doctors, not paint a picture of them, but these are facts.
Yeah.
These are facts. And you don't have to go to a 4-year university. I teach business also as an adjunct at BIPSI. Most of my students, when they graduate with these 2-year degrees, especially like in IT, they go right over to cybersecurity, make $75,000 to $100,000. Those petroleum engineers, which is a 2-year degree, they go out and make 6 figures. They making more than the teachers. You know what I'm saying? Not to say about money, but these are facts. So, you got to expose. It's different fields, man. Not to put nothing down. I'm just, you got to give people options, man.
Yeah, you just putting the information out there, man. Like you can't argue with facts. And we just trying to put people on different things to where you just know different stuff. Like you just know the norm is everybody know about being a rapper. Everybody know about being an athlete. But man, it's 100 ways to be out here and get money.
I'm telling you, man, I tell people all the time, the doctors don't make the most money in the hospital. It's that businessman who owned the hospital, who built it.
Whoever name up there who donated. They the one that paid for it.
They the one that paid for it, man. The rapper don't get the most money. It's the person who made the beat, the producer.
Yeah. It's about who signed who contract did you sign? Because they get paid first.
That's true.
They get the money first, then they pay you after they get their cut.
That's why you see, in the music industry, a lot of artists, even NBA YoungBoy recently talking about he wants to be independent because he's been exposed. He left Louisiana, went to Atlanta, signed with these large record companies. He's saying, wait a minute, look how much money I'm losing. I'm popular, I got the clout, man, but I'm losing millions and millions of dollars because I don't own my own
Masters.
masters.
You don't own them, man. You don't own all your publishing. Like,
Yep.
man, that's how you get paid. But
Yep.
they take their points. They want that.
Yep.
And the internet changed the game, bro. Like, man, the internet changed the game forever. You can do anything independent with the power of just a click of a button.
Yep. And man, you posted some on your page a couple of weeks ago, man. And you had a lot. I think I commented, and I try to shy away from commenting, but you talked about I think it was a Southern Classic.
Oh my, yeah, I'm glad man, look here, bro. They went ham on that post. I'm like, come on. But I would give my rhyme for a reason. I'm glad you even brought that up, bro. So the people who don't know what happened, it's a popular chicken spot out here called Southern Classic. They are now franchising. And basically, long story short, they was like, you had to have like I don't remember the numbers. I forgot what the number was, but I want to say it had to be like $500,000, $600,000 buy-in or something to that.
$500,000.
Yeah, $500,000. I'm like, come on. I understand, in the franchise model, but 500,000, 500K on top of all the other things that you had to have, you gonna start your own chicken spot for $100,000. Team up, because this is my personal opinion. Like, I feel like with food or anything, we promote to our people better than anybody else.
Right.
So I'm like, man, like, yeah, it might take a little extra time, but we own the whole thing.
We own the whole thing.
You ain't never seen Southern Classic give back to any community that they're in. The only thing they doing is sucking out the dollar. I ain't mad at them. It's business. It's capitalism. It's America. It's what we built on. But I mean, if we can start your own chicken spot from scratch and own the whole thing, we'll be good. That one person ain't got to own. We can do a whole fund. We can put 10 people in. Hey, everybody bring a piece, and we can run it like that. Mm-hmm. That was my 2 piece about it, man. People were like, man, I understand people know, but outside the street, people don't really know about Southern Classic like that. And every place got their own spot. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, man, that's what makes Atlanta. You say something like that in Atlanta, $500,000. The reason Atlanta is prospering because everybody supports each other and has their own. Nobody is not finna. How many McDonald's and Burger Kings you see in Atlanta versus mom and pop entrepreneurs, startups?
You see a bunch of them in the A. Every time, every corner you go, it's a black spot.
It's a black spot.
Yeah, small, Houston. Big, Lord, H-Town.
Turkey Leg Hut. He didn't partner with Butterball, who sells turkey. They started their own thing. They own turkey legs. Now, look at them.
Yeah.
The girl in New Orleans, who does makeup, she made $1 million in one day. She didn't partner up with a franchise. You know what she did? She made $1 million in one day. The Crayola.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Super in them. Super in the and the other chick, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, she from the hood, like nobody. That's just it was great points, but you know what I'm saying. You really got to believe in yourself, man. And when people tell you and doubt you, you got to cut them off. You just got to cut them off, man. Because you look at stories like that, and I brought up the point of Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street didn't have Southern Classics. Black Wall Street didn't have quote unquote the McDonald's. Everybody had their own thing, and they supported each other. I actually 2 years ago, I went to Black Wall Street, stayed a week, and talked to some of the guys and the descendants of people who were killed in the massacre. And they basically said the same thing. You have to believe in yourself, and the community has to understand that supporting each other is how the black dollar is going to circulate. You can take those same principles from Black Wall Street, even from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, was the same way. You had these couple of business owners. It only take about 5 or 10. It don't take a lot. You do this, you do this, you do this. Let's support each other. Let's start our own doctor's clinic, and go after the minorities, the rural areas, Let's start our own dental clinic. Let's start our own, shoe shine, barbershop. It'll be self-sufficient.
Yeah. Everybody pick a need and roll with it.
Yep. Imagine if, our friend Damien, he got the Orlando's. Look at you. You guys are well supported. Look how the community is supporting y'all. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Imagine having a black hospital. Imagine having a black bowling alley. Imagine having a black skating ring. That's how you create economic development. You got to have plans, man, and I don't want to get off to a tangent, but these are one of the things I think about daily. I think about these things daily, about being self-sufficient, having a plan to get out a 9 to 5, but also being self-sufficient, because everybody can be successful. It's just how bad you want it,
Yeah, that's true. I like Eric Thomas got the saying, if you wanna, how you want to be successful. If it's as bad as you want to breathe, something I forgot how ET broke it down, but he broke it down like that, man. So you gotta really want it. At the end of the day, you gotta want it. You gotta sacrifice for it, and you can't take no for an answer. That's like number one. You can't take no for an answer. Like, if you really believe in that, you got to be all in. People like, man, I got plan B, C, D. No, you need plan A. Because if you think about plan B, you already thinking plan A gonna fail.
Yep. So, and one thing I used to, one thing I had to stop doing. I used to take on a lot, man. I used to try to do this. Ideas used to pop in my head like just right after each other. I mean, I can come up with a business plan, man, in 5 minutes. I'm talking about from cradle to grave, A to Z. But you have to stop, think, what am I going to do? Work on that one thing, then go to the next. Because if you're a jack of all trades, you'll never be successful.
Yeah. Man, so that's right. I just dropped the gem, man. It's riches and niches.
Yeah, riches and niches.
You gotta find your niche, man. Like, that's what made me even when I had to learn doing my business. Like, I was doing everything, all type of products. I'm like, man, I got all this. All this ain't selling. Chick-fil-A sell chicken. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I do crawfish, the little shrimp, crab. That's it. Everything, man. Something else, I don't do it. Fried fish, I don't do it. My other partner, he got a spot. He do all that you want to sit in. We do ball action. We cage it. We spice it. That's what we do. You want
you that? You the only one to do what you do in this area, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When you the only one to do what you do in any area, I don't care if you're in Alaska, I don't care if you're in Montana. If you're the only one to do it and you master it, you're gonna be successful.
Man, you said it, Jim, man. You just said the ball. We gotta drop the pin on that one. Yeah, man. So, Jimmy, bro, I definitely appreciate you for tapping in with me, man. Dropping these gems, man. Telling your story on how you came up and about your company of Jones Oil and Gas, bro. So I just want to say thank you, bro. Make sure you guys like this video. Hey, Jimmy, tell them how I know you don't really do a lot of social media, but tell the people if they want to get in touch with you or they just want to follow up with you on your store or whatnot, how can they get in touch with you, bro?
Well, I'm on Facebook, man. Jimmy Jones. I'm on Facebook and Instagram _ Jimmy Jones Official. That's my Instagram.
Gotcha. Make sure y'all follow Jimmy, man. Tap in with him, man. You want to know anything about the oil and gas industry? Jimmy got you, man. It's yours truly, Darius Spells. I'm in the saddle with you. Make sure you grab the new book, Think Your Way to Freedom.
Yes,
the link is below. Make sure you tap in, man. I'm basically just giving the principles on how to tap into your superpowers, man. Because everybody have a superpower. You just have to activate it.
Gotta activate it.
And that's kind of what I break down in the book, man. I just want people to really get that, and that will inspire me to even drop it. Tap into it, man. Cause you gotta you don't have to. God never put in the Bible, for all my religious people. If there's a limit on abundance, there's not a limit on abundance. It ain't. There's no limit on your blessings. It's about how many blessings that you want to get. Yep. If you work hard for, God said you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
You've been doing it, man, as long as I can remember. I'm talking about even, when we was sophomores in high school. I remember you DJing parties, man. I think you and Jay Brown probably was some of the first like serial entrepreneurs I came across. I was like,
yeah, it been a minute, man. Like it just, one thing about it, I don't know what it is about Huntington, man, but we produce a lot of business owners.
We do.
A lot of hustlers out here from the H, man. It just, Hunter was a business and law man, but crazy thing is they didn't really do a lot of business. Maybe we would, I don't know, but we just picked up on that particular trait and man, we ran with it, and to me, it's not a better feeling, man. With all the ups and downs, the losses, the wins, man. Hey, I wake up every day energized, ready to go out there and go get it, man. So,
that's it. That's it.
That's what it is. So we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. We locked in each and every week. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, man, and we gonna get at y'all next time. You did?